Right, Atiku's aide has come out to debunk the news that Atiku want to, let the position for Obi run in 2027. Anyway, let's take a watch and hear people's reaction on Arise TV.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has debunked widespread reports suggesting he pledged to step down for a younger candidate in the 2027 presidential election, insisting his position has been fundamentally misrepresented. In a statement issued on Tuesday by his spokesman, Paul Ibe, Atiku's camp described the media interpretation of his recent BBC Hausa service interview as inaccurate and misleading. The statement clarified that what Atiku actually said was that young people, as well as other prospective presidential aspirants, are free to enter the contest, and that if a young candidate were to emerge through a competitive primary, he would readily support such a candidate without hesitation.
Wasu na ganin cewa lokaci ya ja, ba wannan ba shi bane karan farko ka sha fitowa a wannan takara amma ba ka samu, ga shekaru suna karuwa. Ba ka ganin kamar lokaci ya da zaka iya daga matasa kafa ka ba su dama?
Ai ban hana su ba. Wai hana su, ba wani wanda ya hana su.
Amma ba ku jawo su jiki ba, ku nuna masa hanya.
Ai jam'iyyar da muka dauka yanzu ai matasa da mata muka saka a gaba.
Yanzu aka cika haƙuri ka ba wani matashi zaka ba shi dama?
Wannan magana daban ne, idan na ce zan tsaya matashi ya kada ni shikenan zan karba. Ai ba mu kai wannan wurin ba tukun.
Well, that was Atiku Abubakar's BBC interview. Well, Paul Ibe further clarified that after a thorough review of both the video and the transcripts of the interview, in the original Hausa and English translation, it is evident that at no point did the former vice president expressly state, suggest, or even imply that he intends to step down for anyone. And I'd like to read some tweets now. This is from 64, who wrote right here, just a quick reminder, sir, by 2027, you will be 80 years. My advice is please keep the money you want to waste again for campaign for your children and grandchildren. And I'll take another tweet here. Atix wrote, he has no consciousness of age. At age 80, what level of capacity can a man possibly have to fix a nation like Nigeria? That's the question. Are you listening? And then finally, another Twitter user, Chris, posted on X, wrote, what many Nigerians do not understand about Oga is that while others see the presidential race as a sprint, Oga sees it as a marathon. Oga takes inspiration from President Paul Biya. Jessica, it means stay strong, Ayo. All right, well, before I come to you, let me just go through other comments. In the same vein, Atiku Abubakar's spokesman, Frank Shaibu, has issued a scathing statement criticizing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's claims of progress in education, healthcare, the economy, and security during his Independence Day address to the nation, arguing that the president is disconnected from citizens' harsh realities, using vivid metaphors. Shaibu declared, the yam may be plentiful, but if the pot is empty, the stomach still rumbles. Today, Nigeria's pot is not only empty, but cracked, and the people remain hungry. On education, Shaibu argued that many pupils still learn under harsh conditions, while teachers struggle with poor salaries, stating, a man who builds many huts without roof has only built shade for goats. Very plenty metaphors, Frank Shaibu. Well, regarding healthcare, Shaibu noted that Nigerians still provide candles, syringes, and drugs before receiving treatment in hospitals. The opposition spokesman also criticized the government's economic reforms, highlighting that food prices have skyrocketed, transportation costs have overwhelmed households, and many families eat less than one meal a day, declaring in another quote, if these are the seeds of reform, then the fruit is still bitter. Well, on security, Shuaibu pointed to the recent killing of a Rise TV journalist, Somtochukwu Maduagu, in an Abuja robbery incident, stating, "A farmer cannot boast. The bush is cleared, while weeds still choke his yam." Well, Shuaibu challenged the administration's claims of disbursing billions to poor households, noting that citizens haven't felt the impact. He said, "If the yam has truly cooked, neighbors will perceive the aroma." Right. Well, he also highlighted the plight of Nigerian youths who, instead of thriving, are forced to sell sachet water or ride motorcycles for survival, declaring, "You cannot tell a child to dream big while you steal the mat he sleeps on." Shuaibu urged the government to reflect honestly on the state of the country, suggesting that anniversaries should be moments of sober reflection rather than self-praise, concluding, "Nigeria is 65 years old, but our leaders still serve promises as though we are meals." And you know that Frank Shuaibu, Ayo Rufai, Dr. Abati, is very good with this sort of metaphors. But, you know, most of the things that he said, I mean, a lot of Nigerians can agree with that, right?
Yes.
Ayo,
okay,
go
let
ahead.
me just start. I'm sure that from Tinubu's camp, one person in particular would have a proverb in retaliation because it's about Kokoro Tonje for, you know, he would have something to say to him. Maybe it would be proverbs or proverbs in terms of response. But, you know, on another note, let me just talk about very quickly, first of all, going to the age question and the comments that came around former Vice President Atiku Abubakar saying that he's too old. I don't think, well, when it comes to age, there's nothing around a cap on the age of the person who wants to run for the presidency according to the Constitution. So he's well within his rights. If we compare the frontier of democracy front runners, we have, you know, Donald Trump is 79 years old. He's going to be 80 next year. Joe Biden, who had contested in the last US elections, is currently, I think he's 82, and he's going to, you know, so he's going to be 83 later on this year. So what we have been calling for, yes, is competence and also physical, virality. So is it physically fit in terms of a doctor's report? You know, we've often talked about any candidate being bold enough to present to Nigerians a status of fitness of health, so that you know that when you're in office, you have both the mental and physical capacity to lead a diverse nation and a young population like Nigeria. Competence is what we've been asking for. And that's why we often say as well that when it comes to campaign season, let's campaign on ideas. What do you have for the Nigerian people so that people can make a decision as to whom they want to elect, come election season? Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has been good in that, sharing ideas of what he would do differently from this administration. One of which is that in recent times he had said that he had proposed a phased out approach to the removal of fuel subsidy. It's ideas we want to banter with. It's ideas we want to bring to the table, whether it be him, Peter Obi, President Goodluck Jonathan, anyone at all. It's competence above, these other things, whether ethnicity, religious background, or even age. What we want to see is competence. And now, in terms of lastly, on the state of the economy, Frank Shuaibu told no lies. A number of things he said, he was able to prove that indeed, when it comes to education, healthcare, and the like, security, we haven't yet gotten to the promised land yet as a nation. However, President Tinubu also said that we've turned the corner. And so we've gone through labor pains. It's now time to enjoy the birth or the beautiful fruit of what will have happened. So what Nigerians are now waiting for is the actualization and the impact on the ordinary people on these reforms he has made. He has 2 more years to prove to the Nigerian people. COP election 2027, I hope we will banter on ideas. And whoever would be elected would be someone who is good for the nation and to move forward the nation.
Fantastic. Rufai, go ahead.
And I hope that, for what it's worth, in 2027 elections, some people will have the temerity to even come and attend the debates in the first place. Yeah, because it's so easy for people to talk, but they don't like to attend debates, to debate their ideas. At least Atiku Abubakar attended debates. At least Atiku Abubakar, that they're not talking, that some people are pushing the agenda that is quite too old. At least we have never had a reason to dispute his age. But there are many people that will dispute their age in this country. And we just, fritter around hypocrisy of the highest order. You see, this propaganda that somebody is too old, is too this and everything. The truth is, what we are looking for, like Ayo said rightly, is the best ideas on the table. Be it an old man or a young man that could bring the best ideas to be able to change the order of things. When people make arguments about young people, have we not seen young people run states in this country? Didn't they fail woefully? The person that after he became governor is telling state house assembly members, Makuru Maga, is he not a young person? Was that person not one of the youngest governors in this country? And at the same time, we've seen young people, the likes of Donald Duke, that did very well. So it's not about the age range. It's about the capacity of an individual himself.
Right.
Is the individual a good person or a bad person? But you see, the problem with Nigeria is that we have a way of bringing in rogues. People that their age is in dispute. People that certificate is in dispute. All sorts of matters around them. That's the people we bring into leadership. And that's why this country is not moving forward.
All right.
And that's why Frank Schreiber said all the things he said. How will a country move forward when you have people that, yes, we celebrate good part, like we celebrated Lagos today, we celebrated the returning of all of them, but collectively, on the terms of leadership, we see gaps. And when we see these gaps, we said, and I remember expressly yesterday you stated, Ojin, that he said it's only when the person wins the primaries. So those are going to spin narrative, they should continue.
Okay, very clearly. Look, the major issue here is that the Nigerian constitution is very clear about eligibility. It does not give you a limit as to what age you can qualify for the presidency of Nigeria. Other conditions are properly spelled out there. You must not be a criminal, you must be a Nigerian citizen. It doesn't say if you are 75 years old or 80 years old, you cannot run for the presidency of Nigeria. After all, in neighboring Cameroon, Paul Biya, who is 92 going to become 93, he's still in the race and he's the oldest monarch. Yeah, he's a monarch. That's what he is in the world, and he says he wants to die in office. Mutarika in Malawi, who just came back as president, he's 85. Now, what is important is not about the fiscal age; it's about the age of your ideas. Now, in the case of Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar, now there is a group, the Obedient Movement. They have been saying to beat President Tinubu and the APC, it would be better for him to step down for Mr. Peter Obi. Now, the clarification that he has offered is that he has never said he will step down for anybody. He has been in that race since 2003. And in fact, if he doesn't win in 2027, you can be sure he will come again in 2031. What we should be emphasizing is that it is up to the Nigerian people to make a choice who they want as their president.
All right.
The choice should be ours. And that's why we keep saying that, there should be electoral reform. There should be a level playing field. There should be transparency. And it's good that he has said if he loses the ADC primaries, he will support whoever wins. That will mean he behaving as a good party, loyal party member.
Yeah.
As for Frank Shaibu, I think he wrote that piece, rejoinder to President Tinubu in a fit of hunger. He must have been hungry. All those metaphors. No, he was talking about yam, he was talking about meat, he was talking about pot, he was talking about... Look, what do you expect Frank Shaibu to say? It's not only Frank Shaibu.
So he's probably very hungry then.
Find him a pot of yam so that he can... Now, the president, on the occasion of the Independence Day, used the occasion to showcase his administration, to say this is what we have been doing. Right. What do you expect him to say? To abuse himself on Independence Day, and he said, look, Nigerians should be patient, Nigerians should expect more. Right. He called it a message of hope.
Yeah. It's all right. I actually heard everything that Rufai and Dr. Abati is saying. Well, the truth remains that, okay, yes, Atiku might be eligible to run physically, health-wise, and otherwise, he does not have any criminal record. He's physically fit, he's healthy, and all that. Perhaps in age, the constitution does not, stop him from running. From running for election. Yes, but what we are talking, we are what the masses, I mean the Nigerian people, is actually agitating for, what is bringing up all this age of a thing and bringing up all these indifferences, is nothing else but we're talking about, personality. I think 2023, 2027 election is really not about capability, is not about what have you, the manifestos you have written, what you're going to do, and all of that. I think the people's eyes are now open. We're talking about personality. We're looking at the personalities of these persons. Atiku, as one time the vice president of this country, who have been able to see, his capability, that even the attestations that the principal gave, on his behalf. So all of this put together is what the Nigerian people is really after. You can't compare now. Compare Atiku Abubakar as a vice president and Osibanjo as a vice president of the just immediate past regime. You can compare these two persons that, if you bring them on the table, the people can be able to, make a choice of whom to. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this, that, why people are agitating, making reference to age and all of those things, it's nothing else but talking about personality. The individual people are just asking Atiku to step down. Step down for who? Basically for Peter Obi. Looking at his track record, looking at his antecedent, look at what he was able to pull out, and how he has been able to mingle with the masses, how he has been able to have convince quite a lot of persons about what he's going to do in this country. So that is what people are actually looking at. If you look at this 2027 elections, people are the antecedent, the track record of the candidate is what the people are actually going to be looking after. It's not about your age. It's not about your capability. It's not about I could remember 2015 and 20 when the Buhari run against Goodluck Jonathan. Of course, if you look at that election critically, you see that people obviously voted for Buhari. Yes, Buhari had a massive crowd, this thing, because people were, we felt that Jonathan was too weak, Jonathan was too calm, Jonathan, is not taking quite action. And then knowing Buhari then that we used to know, when we mentioned Buhari then in the 80s, that, he was a military head of state and all of that, his antecedent and track record, that was what gave the people the mindset that, okay, yes, I think we need somebody like Buhari to come and handle some situations. But obviously, the people's hope was dashed. So at this point in time, the people are actually looking at the track record of these personalities. So they are actually writing article to step down, not because he does not have by the law, is not eligible to run, or he has a criminal track record, or he has a health issue. No, but simply, well, people are looking at the track record, the antecedent. They're looking at somebody who is, based on what they have seen so far, based on evaluation, based on verifications and all of that. So far, people are saying that a younger person should go. So people are bringing up all these excuses: younger person, age, region, zoning, and all of these things. All they are wanted. People know who they wanted. So they are asking the party to give this person a chance. So that is what I think I could denote from the message of the people, the reactions of people, from not just about the age of article and all of that. So thank you guys for watching, but you can still share your opinion with us in the comment sections. But this is my own personal view, and I think that is what it is. See you in the next video. Thank you.